Chaim L'chaim, Good Yontif. Welcome to the Beis Tamuz, Farbrengen. We are privileged to have a very special guest, Farbrengen, with us here. As you know, every year with the Pagra, it's a joint effort of Rabbi Chabad of Illinois, B'nai Ruvain, Beis Menachem, and Free make Farbrengens. We are privileged to have the Rebbe's Shliach to upstate New York, a mashpia to many all over the world, renowned for his shiurim, Farbrengens. And I was speaking to Rabbi Gurary to come. He mentioned that he has a broadcast of a shir that's broadcasted to Europe. He's not able to make it. And the only way we were able to get him to come was to arrange all of the tools needed and make the flight early enough that he should be able to get here and not miss the shir. So we're very grateful that he's here. I encourage everyone to say the Chaim. Those that are watching live in various places, welcome as well. And take a L'chaim, participate in the Farbrengen. There's no location problem. And it should be, as the Rebbe says, it's vadiyos be'ilos. It should be Farbrengens that have a ma'aser b'poel, a practical application, an outcome, which is really the main thing. And as we celebrate this Chag HaGeula today, we should be zeichet to celebrate the ultimate Chag HaGeula, the coming of Mashiach, speedily in our days, L'chaim.
L'chaim, L'chaim to everyone. A good yontif. It's a very big yontif. It's our yontif. It's because our Rebbe and his Hasidim are one Metzias. So if it's a yontif, it's a geula. For the Frierdiker Rebbe, it's our geula. And the Frierdiker Rebbe Taka said about Beis Tamuz that this is not just a private geula, but it's a geula for every yid, and even if a yid who only considers himself a yid by name, every yid, it's all of our yontif, because the victory was not a victory of a private yid, but this was a victory for Klal Yisrael, for the whole situation of Golus. And the Frierdiker Rebbe was a yachid. He was one individual who took upon himself to fight the strongest superpower of Russia, and nothing was in his way. He stood firm in continuing, furthering Yiddishkeit in the most dangerous times. And the nest that he was saved, spared, gave new koyach to all the Jews who are still in Russia and were living under such a great pressure. And they took from this that no one is a balabas, no one could dictate a Yid's life between him and Hashem. And Yidden continued with great difficulties, but with self-sacrifice, they continued keeping Yiddishkeit and raising their children. And today we see so many hundreds and thousands of Hasidim and Yidden who are the offsprings of these people who gave up their lives to keep Yiddishkeit in Russia. And not only in Russia, but this also gave tremendous strength for Klal Yisrael to continue, and no matter on what kind of difficulties, no one is going to dictate to a Yid his connection to Hashem and how he should lead his life. So it's our Yontif. And the way to celebrate the Yontif is to learn from this Yontif in our daily life that what it takes to be a Yid, the way Hasidus wants us to live, that we should be through and through for real. We should give all that we have to Hashem. When we do a mitzvah, we should do this with our whole heart. When we learn Torah, we should learn Torah because this is Hashem's Torah, and that's the way how we connect to Hashem. Everything that we do really needs to be done with Mesiras Nefesh. Because Mesiras Nefesh literally means you're totally dedicated to Hashem on every level. Not just Chas v'Sholem to be a superficial Jew, but that is our lives. That's who we are. We're not doing this because we have an obligation, but this is what we really want. And this is what we want. There's nothing more that we want, is to be close to Hashem. I want to tell you that this might be interesting for you to know that I myself was privileged to go to Russia when it was still communist Russia. Nothing to compare to the times of the Farbrengen Rebbe, but it was still communist Russia. And I was sent there to teach Yidden Torah, to teach them Hasidus. And I thought that I came to teach them, and it ended up to be that I learned from them, and I took from them much more than what I gave them. I saw the self-sacrifice of young Yidden to learn Torah, or to keep Shabbos, or to keep their children from not going to school on Shabbos, was a tremendous self-sacrifice. And that is only in 1980 or 1981. This is nowhere like the time of the Farbrengen Rebbe. But even then, it was such an intense time that you could cut the ear. You felt wherever I went in Russia, you felt somebody's following you, somebody's watching you, the room where you are, the hotel that you went, there was a 90% chance that room is booked. When you went to a person's house, a person who was searching for Yiddishkeit, in many homes, they asked me not to talk, but to write, because they were concerned that the room is bugged. The self-sacrifice of the Yidden at that time is unbelievable, their Mesiras Nefesh. They never dreamt in those days that they're going to ever get out of Russia. This means that their whole life is going to be struggle after struggle after struggle for every little detail in Yiddishkeit. And yet, this was a given. We are Yidden. No matter what, this is what we're going to continue. I could tell you stories, incredible stories, how young couples wanted I should teach them Torah, and they were going to a college, and for them to meet a foreigner, American person, they could automatically lose they would not let them back into school. Because you talk to a foreigner, you're giving over secrets, army secrets, like it was like paranoia that's all you have. You're going to give over secrets from the government. It was like a big sin even to meet a foreigner. When I went to the shul, you would think, oh, there I could daven in peace. Half of the shul were informers, including the rabbi and the president. And half of them are informers. Before I went to the shul, I went in America. I was shown a video. Who is a good guy and who is a guy that you got? He could have a beard. He could have a black hat. He's an informer. That's how scary it was. You had to know who you're talking to. You're being watched. And yet, the Yidden who kept Yiddishkeit with living like this day after day after day, their Mesiris Nefesh, their thirst for Torah, the thirst for mitzvahs. So I want to tell you just a few of my experiences. And yet, this was all due to the Frierdiker Rebbe of his Mesiris Nefesh to make Yidden keep Yiddishkeit in Russia and all over Russia. He had underground shuls, underground mikvahs, underground Talmud Torahs. And every person who was involved in teaching children, his life was in danger. The Frierdiker Rebbe took 9 Hasidim, and he was the 10th. He needed a minion to make a covenant that they're going to spread Yiddishkeit no matter what, even to life. And he had such Hasidim, such soldiers that were willing to give up their lives. And matter of fact, at least 1 or 2 of those 10 were shot and went shot to death. The Frierdiker Rebbe didn't stop. And when there was missing a person, he took in another person. You're talking about Mesiris Nefesh to the end. So let me tell you a few stories that I experienced when I was there. First of all, there were young, like teenagers that I met they came from Bali Tshuva. The Zaydas of these kids were a part of the KGB, no less. So they had to be so careful in their own family. And yet their thirst for Yiddishkeit was incredible. There was a boy who I saw that he's so interested. His greatest request was if he could have his own siddur. He would give a boy a bicycle or an electric bicycle. To him, a siddur was his greatest gift. So I gave him a soft cover siddur that what I took along. And later, after being there for a week and a half or 2, I saw that he bound this siddur and made this like a hardcover siddur. This was like to him the greatest gift. There were people who I went to Shabbos. I was also in Leningrad, and I was by a couple on Shabbos. They were Bali Tshuva, and their daughter, they held her back from school not to have to go Shabbos on school. But you have to go. So they had to always make up a story that that the child is sick and can't come. So I was in the house on Shabbos where the government or from the school came to check up if she sick. So they knocked on the door. Immediately the girl jumped into bed because she's supposed to be sick. Could you imagine living like this on a Shabbos after Shabbos, coming up with stories to able to keep a Shabbos? Unbelievable. The Mesiris Nefesh, and they didn't even think that this was Mesiris Nefesh. This is by them natural. This is what it takes. So we're talking about just a taste of what Jews went through in Russia to maintain Yiddishkeit. And a lot of Hasidim, as we all know, end up in jail, end up in Siberia, and ended up in who knows where. And even there, they kept Shabbos, and they kept kosher, and if they didn't have what to eat, so they'll live on sugar, they'll live on I don't know what. So many stories of the Mesiris Nefesh, of Yidden, just to keep Torah mitzvahs. So the Frierdiker Rebbe was the one who helped and strengthened Yiddishkeit throughout Russia. He was the key enemy of communism. And anyone that had any connection to the Frierdiker Rebbe was immediately, he's in trouble. And they would censor the letters, they would censor the telephones. And any time that they thought that a person has some connection to Schneerson, they knew this is the Rebbe. That meant that that guy is anti-government, anti-communism, and he could lose his job. And if you lose your job in Russia, that's the end of your life. Because you have to work. That's the law. You can't be what they say, a parasite and live off the government or something. You have to work. But what they do is that they don't let you work. So you're already in trouble. They'll catch you in the street, passport. Then they know, do you work? Where do you work? You don't work? Already you're in trouble. So life was miserable for so many years. And the Yidden held with the greatest Mesiris Nefesh. And this is all thanks to the work of the Frierdiker Rebbe. And this is the Yom Tov that we celebrate, that the miracle was that a person like that got out of jail. He was supposed to be Chas v'Shalom shot. And he got out, and soon as he got out, he started even working more. Because once he was out of Russia, he could do more than when he was in Russia. And he kept on working and working to hold up the Jews for Torah mitzvahs, give them money for teachers, for mikvahs, you can't imagine. So this is a yontif that speaks to all of us. Because to be a Yid is going to take Mesiris Nefesh. You cannot survive in today's world, such a megushavdika world, such a dark world. You can't survive to be a Yid the way the Eibishter wants us to be without Mesiris Nefesh. And today, the ness of the Frierdiker Rebbe is that Mesiris Nefesh is going to succeed, and they're going to have the greatest hatzlacha, although we are a minority and so many goyim and so many anti-Semitin and so many. A Yid is a chelik alakam imal. A Yid has incredible koiches, and therefore will always succeed. So this is not just the geula from the Frierdiker Rebbe, it's the geula for every Yid who wants to be close to the Eibishter with Mesiris Nefesh, Today is the day that you should know you're going to succeed. You're going to have the greatest hatzlacha, and that's what a yid is. That's who a yid is. A yid is a Baal Mesiris Nefesh. And in simple words, everything we do, when we learn, when we daven, when we do a mitzvah, you gotta give it all that you have. You can't just do it because I gotta do it or I have to get it over with. You have to do it with your whole heart. You have to go out of your comfort zone and do more than what you feel like doing. You know, in the world, I'm sure you know this, there's such a saying, I don't feel like it, or I'm not into it. Those words don't even, you're not going to hear this in Hasidic Chabad. What are you going to hear if somebody's going to say, I don't feel like it? What do you think you're going to hear? You're going to hear, oh, you don't feel like it? Very good. It's even better. By saying that you don't feel like it is not going to get you off the hook. If anything, you're going to hear, oh, this is unbelievable. You really don't want to do it. Now you could do it really. Now it's going to be very, very precious to Hashem. There was a chassid who came to the Tzemach Tzedek. Tzemach Tzedek was the third Lubavitcher Rebbe. And he said to him that I don't really enjoy learning. So the Tzemach Tzedek answers him, I got a bigger problem. I do enjoy learning. What did he answer him? What kind of answer is that? The answer is that when you like to learn and you learn, that's not even Mesiris Nefesh. You like it. You enjoy it. It's when you don't like it and yet you do it, that's called a servant of Hashem. That's called avodah. So in our surroundings, in our yeshivas, you're going to be embarrassed to tell the mashpia or your teacher, I don't feel like it. Those words, you're not going to even able to say it because you know what he's going to say. He's going to whack you over the head. That's tremendous. You don't feel like doing it. That's what it's all about. So you got to do it for sure. You're such a lucky man. You don't like to do it, then you're going to do it. This is so dear to Hashem. You can't even say those words. There's very few words that you could say that they're going to get off the hook. What are you going to say to the rabbi or to the, I don't feel like it, I'm not into it? Is anybody asking you about, are you in the mood? Since when does Hashem ask us, how do you feel about the mitzvahs today? Are you in the mood? Hashem is our melech, Hashem is our king, and he dictates to us what we should do. He doesn't ask you, how do you feel about this? Are you into it? Are you not into it? Basic Judaism 101 is Hashem is a melech. He's the king, and he gives us orders. A mitzvah is a command. It's not like optional. If you like it, if you choose so, there's a misunderstanding, a big misunderstanding that many people think that being that Judaism talks about free choice, so we really have a choice. We could do it or we don't have to do it. Don't we have a free choice? And I find a lot of people telling me this answer. I just chose not to do it. Or I just don't, I don't really have a feeling for it. It doesn't do anything to me. Since when does it have to do something to you? You got the wrong religion. You must be confusing this with a different religion. Jewish religion doesn't ask you, how do you feel about this mitzvah? It's a command. Hashem is a melech, and he gives us orders. Like it or lump it. However, so what does free choice mean? Free choice doesn't mean it's optional. This is a gross misunderstanding. It's not, Judaism is not optional. God didn't say, choose whatever you like. It's okay. Just choose. This is sick. Hashem never said that. It's commands. Commands. Anybody who opens up the Torah in English or in French or in Russian, you'll never get this impression in the Torah that religion is optional. Do you know that, I'm sure everybody knows here, that it's quite clear in the Torah, say a person chooses to, chas v'sholom, go to a restaurant, and he wants to eat ham and bacon. It's his money, it's his choice. Does he have a right to do that? It's his choice. Don't we have a free choice? So he chooses to eat chas v'sholom treif. That's before you open up the Chumash. But if you could read in English or any language, you'll see that the Torah commands. And the Torah says even that if you don't do that, and there are two people who saw that you're not listening to the Torah, and you're eating this kind of abomination, and you're eating this sandwich, and two people say to you, excuse me, good afternoon, sir, are you aware that the Torah says that this is not exactly something that you're allowed to eat? And if you do eat this, we might have to take you for a nice walk, and you're going to get some love pats that are going to be 39 lashes that if you have a rear end after that, you're ahead of the game. So the Torah gives you an option. You push it, you're out of your mind. That's an option. There's no option. Religion is not do what you feel like. It's up to you. There's rewards, there is punishments. I won't even go into the bigger things that you can end up getting. I don't want to disturb your dinner tonight, but there is no such a thing in the Jewish religion that it's optional. You have a free choice. That's not what it means. Free choice means that Hashem is not going to do it for you. You got to choose. You got to make the move. But don't you dare make the wrong move. You're going to get it so over the head that you'll understand that this is a command. Free choice only means that every creation besides a human being doesn't have a choice to do what it's doing. If you are an animal, if you are created to be a kind animal, you're going to be kind. You don't have a choice to be anything different than the way Hashem created you. If you are a cruel animal, because that's the nature of that particular animal, you have no choice but being what you are. A human being, even if he was born with corrupt, he comes from a corrupt family or a corrupt society, he still has the way to go against his own feelings and control himself. So he has a choice to do what Hashem wants him to do. But don't you dare go against Hashem. So Torah does not give us, this is something that we have to teach the whole world. The Jewish religion is not a religion that tells you whatever you feel. You have the free choice. This is not a simple topic. Majority of Jews today who are assimilated and whatever, it all comes, one of the problems is that they were never taught that the Torah comes from God. They were never taught that this is mandatory, that Jewish religion does not give you any options. You don't even have any freedom. So the question is, the Torah says there's no free person than a person who observes the Torah. So this needs a lot of clarification, because we know that if you listen to the Torah, you have no freedom. The Torah dictates every move that you do, every word that you say, every thought, what you should think. This is a pretty strict religion. There's not a moment in your life that I could be a free person to do what I want to do. So how could the Torah say that there's no Enoch ben Chayren, there's no free person than a person who follows the Torah? So what's the explanation? Because we have a neshama, and the neshama wants to be close to Hashem. That's all it wants. So when the neshama could do a mitzvah, the neshama feels free. Free that I could be my real self, but not free I could do what I want. Then you are a servant to your emotions, you're a servant to your instincts. You're not a free person at all. A person who doesn't have to go by what he feels like, but he could do this. What is going on here? Yeah. On the 5 pages, right?
It might be interfering with someone's phone. See this, we have all the direct malachim in our pockets. Turn off Wi-Fi. No.
Everybody knows that when Hashem gave the Torah, he also gave Moshe Rabbeinu for Klal Yisrael the Luchos. And on the Luchos was engraved 10 commandments, 10 mitzvahs. The question that needs to be answered, what was the need to have the Luchos? When we later got the whole Torah, the whole 5 books of Moses was written on a Torah, and we had, every Shevet had a whole Torah for themselves. So why did we need the Luchos? The Luchos is only 10 of the 613, and yet there's a whole to-do in the Torah